will be no good angles in this video. I can't be bothered to get my tripod and look presentable. But this video is going to be all about YA fantasy from someone who's never read YA fantasy, unless you count Harry Potter and the first Hunger Games, but like, I don't know, those seem a little different. Twilight. I consumed Twilight. You know, I read Twilight, the first 3 books, in elementary school, and I remember talking to my 4th grade teacher. That can't be right. My 3rd? I remember talking to a teacher about my love of Twilight, and I said Eclipse was my favorite book. And it feels a little awkward for 9-year-old Brittany to be saying that. Is my timeline wrong? What? Anyway, this will be about YA fantasy. Specifically, the 5 best, according to Google, or 5 most popular, I should say, not best. Controversy there. I'm very dizzy now. Anyway, I'll be talking about the 5 best, insert little screen thing, 5 most popular YA fantasy novels. Okay, why did I say that like Chris from Parks and Rec? Literally fantastic. Literally the best ever. I've been binge watching Parks and Rec. Okay, get it together. This video might be a little bit more chaotic than my other videos because I'm chaotic, and that is all. So anyway, I will be talking about 5 most popular YA fantasy novels. So I don't have the list with me right now because I'm ill-equipped for this video. But I'm starting with 6 of Crows because I'm already halfway through that book when I decided to do this adventure. Then I will be reading in no particular order. Don't know if this is how it's going to end up happening. The Children of Blood and Bone. I don't know if the titles are right for any of these. Shadow and Bone, which is another book by the same author as... What book am I reading? Oh, 6 of Crows. Same as the 6 of Crows lady. It's the same author. And then The Cruel Prince, Holly Black. Shout out to my friend for that being her favorite book. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll read it. I mean, partly because of this, but partly because she's talked about it so much and she loves it. And then there's one more. There's one more because it's 5. We'll see. Well, you'll see right now. I don't remember. I put them all on hold. Oh, it's like The Red Queen or something like with blood thing. I don't know. I'm intrigued. Do I know the plots of any of these books? No. I have an idea that The Cruel Prince is enemies to lovers, because I think that's what my friend said. She might have told me the plot. If she did, I'm sorry, I don't remember. I don't know the plots of any of these. I am trying to give YA fantasy a shot. The only fantasy... except for Harry Potter and all of those. The only fantasy that I've read has been Game of Thrones. And I enjoyed that. Ish. I give it a 4 out of 5. It was good. And I'm waiting for the fantasy that I know exists out there that will take my breath away, that will make me fall in love, that will make me question my existence in this realm. And I'm hoping one of these books will be them. Will it? I don't know. But welcome to the adventure. Hi there. I'm in the same position. Could I have moved, thrown on a sweater? Yeah. Did I? Obviously not. Anyway, I bet the audio on this is trash. And you know what? Screw tech. We're talking about 6 of Crows. I am halfway through the book. There might have been another clip. Now. Okay. It is a Sunday. I'm wearing a stained shirt, hair up. This is how I exist most of the time. And I am about halfway through 6 of Crows. I'm checking to see how far into it I am. So I'm on page 440 out of 1022 on my ebook version, but I looked at it and there's only like 700 and something pages. Yeah, because the acknowledgement starts on 785. So I'm at 400 out of 785. And I was like, whoa, I'm like halfway done. So I thought I would mention my thoughts on it a bit so far because I decided to do this video after I started reading the first book. So I went into it knowing absolutely nothing. I didn't even read a plot. I was like, this will be fun. And I like it. That did not sound believable. I'm finding that I'll preface this by saying I am in a reading slump. Two, I sometimes when I'm in a creative writing class where I'm critiquing a lot of people's works, I start reading everything for editing and for like that kind of mindset instead of for pleasure. So do I notice a lot of typos and inconsistencies? I mean, I wouldn't say a lot. I do find that sometimes the characters go from 0 to 100 and you're like, that seems unrealistic for your character. Yeah. There were just certain parts that I was like, I don't know, it didn't feel realistic to me. It felt like they became close too fast, and then like you were like, ooh, is there something there? And then it was like, yes, and you're like, well, I would have like more of a build up. I'm trying to be vague, so like if you've read it, you know, but if you haven't, you're like, ah, yes. And I'm like, I'm enjoying the story. I'm curious where it'll go. I don't think it's my favorite fantasy I've ever read. I wanted it to be. I was really looking forward to that. I think it's just not for me, but we'll see. Yeah. And we're back. So I am halfway through Six of Crows, as I said, and I have been trying to put a finger on exactly why it's not hitting my fantasy itch. I'm craving fantasy. I'm craving a good pirate story. I mean, that's not what this is saying to be. That's just a side point about how I want a pirate story if you have one like that below. But I have an itch. I want fantasy. I want these worlds and these characters and these magic systems. And I want a little bit of families. And I want some kickassery. I did not just cuss. I don't cuss from. Anyway, so this angle is so bad. Hold on. Okay, why is that just as bad? Listen to me. I can't sit like that. I need to talk to you. I want a good fantasy novel. And okay, you might be thinking, okay, well, sure, like these are good fantasy novels, and I get that. I get that Game of Thrones is some people's favorite. I get that Six of Crows is some people's favorite, but I don't think it will be mine. And I want to cry at that because I want to love it. I wanted to love it so hard. I was like, this is going to be the best fantasy I've ever read, and I'm going to fall in love with this book, and it'll get me out of my reading slump, and it'll make me believe in good writing and literature and all that again. Which, to be fair, not every book is claiming to be that, nor should it be that. For this book, like this book for some people is fabulous, will change their life, like amazing. And then there's me, who felt like all the I don't want to rip this book apart, but I feel like, it's just borderline 3 to 4 star for me. And I'm scared that the problems I have with the book are going to be something I have problems with in all YA fantasy, and all fantasy in general, and that is my worst nightmare. Okay, not my worst nightmare, but still really sad. I want to love it, and I love a good heist story. Magnificent. I love a good love story. That's a lie, but we'll just ignore that. And this one, it's not that for me. Why? Why am I being so picky? I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe. But do you ever feel like that? Do you ever feel like you read a book and you're like, I should love it? I don't, though. What's wrong with me? And I want to say to all those people that have experienced that, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just not the book for you. Now, I'm going to keep telling you that, but I'm not going to believe it because self-help. All right, I will see you at some point, probably later tonight when I try to read this book again, which I like. I like the book. I just don't love it. Let's go. Let's go. Hi. This looks like a spooky story retelling. I am using my iPad, which has Parks and Rec on it, for lighting right now. Because I should be asleep. Because it is... What time is it? And it's 3:40 a.m. That's not as much light. Hi, it's 3:40 a.m. I have class at 10 in the morning. And here I am. But the point being, I was trying to read some stuff earlier because I was like, I just need to find something that I love. Like, you know, when you really are just in the mood, like, I really just want to read something that I absolutely adore, that I'm like, this is perfection. And I feel like I haven't read that in a while. Like, don't get me wrong, I love The House in the Cerulean Sea, but, like, there were typos, and, like, I just find that, like, I'm finding problems with everything, and it's so frustrating. Like, I don't know if anybody relates to this, but, like, oh my gosh, I just want to like something. Like, I think the last thing I read that I was like, this is perfection, was Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood. But gosh, anything she writes is perfection. Anyway, that's a whole different side rant. So, the point being, I tried to read some graphic novels and, like, started a vampire book. Like, I read one sentence and I was like, this is garbage. And I think I'm just in the mood where everything I read is garbage. And I feel like that's not fair for these books. So I'm going to try my best to get out of this. I don't know how you fix this, though. I'm trying. But I just wanted to put this disclaimer in here. Oh, gosh, that looked creepy. So anyway, that is all. I probably should go to sleep. Let's see. It is 4:36 in the morning, and I've been reading, and I realized part of the problem I have with the story. Finally, I have words for it. Okay, so I was thinking about it, and what I don't like is that sometimes things are said without consequence. So what I mean by that is, like, okay, for example, and this is, like, not really a spoiler, but if you hate, like, any type of spoiler, definitely skip ahead, like, 30 seconds, or something. But basically one of the characters, like, in his culture, wolves are sacred, and, like, he has to fight one to survive, and it's just like, oh no, what is he gonna do? And then it's like, oh yeah, he kills them. Cool. Like, and it just, to me, I was like, that's it? That was literally, like, no inner turmoil, and then it's, like, not really brought up again, and I was like, I don't know, I feel like I'd like some trauma from that. I'd like some trauma, please. No, but, like, do you know what I mean? I just was like, and then, like, okay, so the whole, it's like a heist story, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so hard to break in, and then they're like, first plan, we've got this, and I'm just like, that was kind of easy. I feel like, but teenagers could think of it. Maybe your security should have thought of it. Like, they're like, it's impossible. 2 pages later, we can do it. I'm just like, obviously I think stuff's gonna go wrong, blah, 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 but I'm just saying, I'm a little bit like, I don't know. So, those are some reasons. I thought of them. I'm gonna get back to reading. Sleeping. Okay, it is the next day at... My mom has it in military time, and my brain is just not ready for this. I think it's 6:30. I'll put the time somewhere. But I've read more. Let me put this down so I'm not shaking this whole time. So it's the next day, 6:30-ish. I've read more. I think I'll finish it tonight. No, it's like 8:30. I don't know what time it is. It's like 8:30 or something. Anyway, I think I'll finish it tonight. Yes, I'm in the same shirt. Don't judge me. I didn't go anywhere. Don't ever go anywhere. But anyway, I've read more of it, and I just have to say, the plot conveniences and the inconsistencies are killing me. I started bookmarking them and highlighting them and stuff. And I'm ready. I'm ready for whoever wants to have this debate with me that there's no inconsistencies, which I don't know who's going to want to have it, but I'm ready. I've got my evidence. Yeah, I will say I'm intrigued what's going to happen. Also, I looked this book up on Goodreads because I was like, how many pages is it actually? Because on mine it's like 700, but it's the ebook. So I was like, oh, how many pages is it really? And then I was like, it's like 400 and something. And then I saw the review rating, and it's so many 5 stars, like more 5 stars than 4 stars. And I'm like, concerned. I'm concerned. Is something wrong with me? I don't know. I mean, obviously not. People just have different tastes, but it's a bit concerning when you read a book and you're like, and everyone's like, it's the best, and you're like, huh, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's the update. Okay, spooky Brittany is back. So I just finished it. It is 2:05 a.m. and I just finished 6 of Crows, and I have thoughts, and I want to like get my first thoughts, so yeah, I just finished it. I'm in bed. Like, this is my iPad again, lighting up the screen. I had a lot of problems with some inconsistencies, some plot conveniences, where I was like, but I also thought there were a few instances where I thought the plot was solved really well, where I thought it was interesting. I thought the end result, like the final scene, was fascinating. Like, I was like intrigued what was gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, not the very final scene, but I just mean like how it all happened. However, I feel like if I would have read this maybe at a different time, maybe when I was younger, and I don't want to say YA is just for younger people, because I know all types of people enjoyed it, but when I was younger, I loved YA in a way that I don't anymore, and so I feel like some of the things that are common with the YA like genre, or like market, start bothering me a bit more, and I'm like, I can't get behind blindly accepting this world, because now I read things as like an editor, because that's what I want to do. So like, it's very hard for me to just read like and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna ignore the fact that this is inconsistent and this doesn't really add up and all of that, or like things. Sorry, I just pulled open the book, that's why it got darker. But I was like, things where I was like, that should have more impact than it does, like on the characters. Like, there were several things like that, and I don't want to spoil the book or anything, but I feel like I'm definitely in the minority here. I feel like most people love it, and it's not that I think it's not worth loving. Just, I'd give it a 3.5. Gosh, that feels harsh. Yeah, I would. Sorry. Okay, let me open the book and see where I have bookmarked stuff so I can like try to give examples. I'm so sorry I'm dark. I probably should do this tomorrow, but you're getting my hot take. It's funny because sometimes I bookmark and I'm like, what was I bookmarking? I don't know. Sometimes I swear it just does it on its own, and I'm like, I don't know. Okay, I added some highlights. Okay, there was a grammar error, but again, that's fine to me. Missing the comma caused me some confusion. Again, that's fine. Oh my gosh, they mentioned waffles in the story, and I just was like really thrown off. I was like, interesting. Like, it just got very American to me, because like waffles are pretty American. Like, I remember when I was in England having a hard time finding waffles, if they even existed. Like, they had pancakes, but I don't remember waffles. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I was like, that was odd to me that the whole waffle part was there. That just totally threw me off. But again, that's such a small detail. These are just little minor things. Oh my gosh, wait, I wrote in my notes some of my concerns. Okay, I just looked at my notes, and I remembered one of my big problems with the story was the fact that some of the characters just like completely shifted. Like, I was like, also some things were like creepy in it. I don't want to give it too many hints, but someone makes a comment about someone else naked, and I was like, that's creepy, bro. Creepy. And anyway, like, I just felt like sometimes the characters were a bit like insta-lovey, and not in the sense that they just had fallen in love, but like, you're like, one chapter you're like, okay, and then the next chapter you're like, oh, you're in love with them. And it's kind of like, I don't know if that's the most realistic like I felt like it was just done for writing gosh, I hate when I don't enjoy something. I want to love everything, you know? Like at one point someone talks about like a haircut, like how you haven't given enough thought to your haircut, and I was like, who cares about haircuts? You're in a life or death situation right now. And that's one of my big problems that I have with like YA fantasy, and this is such a minor thing, but it drives me insane, is when they have this weird fixation on the character's hair. Maybe this is just me, but like I remember being like, I just feel like in a dystopian world or a fantasy world where the characters are like soldiers and like fighters and like these big things, like I just feel like they would care less about their hair. Is that just me being crazy? But like I just always like, there's just weird scenes where they're like looking in the mirror and they're like, I always braid my hair, and I'm like, I don't care about your hair. I just feel like there are bigger things in the world to worry about. Like your mom just died. This is like a hypothetical. No one's mom died. Well, I don't know if anyone's mom died. Yeah, whatever. It's a hypothetical. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, your family member just died. What do you mean? Like, I love my hair in buns. Like, what? I don't get it. And like, I kind of felt like that when the character was like, you need to think more about your haircut. And I'm like, this doesn't matter right now. Like, maybe if it wasn't in a life or death situation, but it was. Oh my gosh, also there was this whole part where they were like talking about like marking someone, like they're like, but they're in public so they can't say that, so they're like, my friend Mark, which again, like, okay, kind of spoilers, but not really, because it's really vague. So if you haven't read it and you're not interested in any kind of spoilers, just go ahead and skip like 30 seconds. But at one point they were like, yeah, my friend Mark, and then they're like, yeah, the Mark is a tourist. Hold on, I think that's exactly what they say. Let me pull it up so I can quote it. They say, bro, where did it go? I just pulled it up. Talking to my friend Mark. Let's say that Mark is a tourist. Let's say the Mark is a tourist. And I'm like, okay, well, you just gave away your cover, like, completely. Like, that made no sense. Like, why would you come up with a code name if you're just gonna ruin it? I found the whole, like, it's, okay, so it's a story about a heist, and I love a good heist story, but I was like, you're telling me a bunch of 17, 16-year-olds figure out a way to break into the most classified prison ever in this world, it sounds like. They come up with a way in, like, 30 minutes? What? Like, and I mean, obviously I was like expecting the plan to go awry and all of that, but like 30 minutes and they're like, this is how it's done. Like, I just was like, okay, I feel like there should have been more thought here, but maybe that's just me, and this is me being nitpicky. I understand. I think I have 2 holds that have come in, so I'm either gonna read an Ember in the Ashes, which I've been wanting to read for a long time, or The Cruel Prince. I don't know which one to read. I don't know what either of them are about, really. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So yeah. Anyway, that's my rant. That's all.